Welcome to HFY Galactic Stories, original science fiction tales, where humans face impossible odds, and the galaxy pays the price for its ignorance. Listen carefully. This is where legends are born. The Awakening. The Meridian salvage vessel moved quietly through the debris field. It was looking at all the metal pieces with its scanning arrays. Captain Sarah Chen was on the bridge. She was looking at the display in front of her with her dark eyes. The Meridian salvage vessel and Captain Sarah Chen had been searching for 3 years. They were in this faraway part of space now. They got here by following stories and star charts that people had mostly forgotten. "Captain, I am seeing something weird," said Marcus Webb, her sensor officer. His fingers moved quickly across the console as information came up on his screen. "There is a thing hidden in that group of asteroids. The thing is huge. It was clearly made by people." Marcus Webb looked at the captain. Said, "The asteroid cluster has something big inside it, and that thing is definitely not natural. It is something that people made, something artificial, like a big structure." Sarah leaned forward. Her heart started beating faster. The thing showed up on the screen stuck in 3 big rocks that were connected to each other. The outside of it was really smooth and dark. It did not shine all. This structure was different from anything that the people who made the database of known civilizations had seen before. The structure looked really strange. The structure did not look like it was made by anyone that we know of. Sarah said, "What is your age?" Marcus did the analysis 2 times before he gave an answer. He said, "The thing is at least 40,000 years old, Captain. Could be even older than that. The metal that it is made of does not match anything that we have seen before." Before Sarah could say anything, the communication thing in the room started beeping like crazy with a lot of messages coming in. Her guy in charge of communications, Lieutenant James Park, looked up. Seemed really confused. "Captain, we are getting calls from a lot of spaceships at the time. There are Vexery ships, Thalorian ships, and Krillian ships. All of these Vexery ships and Thalorian ships and Krillian ships are heading for where we are right now." Sarah's jaw got really tight. There were 3 kinds of aliens and they did not get along with each other at all. "Let the first alien species talk to me now," Sarah said, referring to the alien species. The view screen. Then it showed the Vexery commander. The Vexery commander had a face that was made of living mineral structures. It looked really upset. The voice of the Vexery commander was sharp. It sounded like it was clicking, but the translator made it sound like human speech. The Vexery commander was clearly very agitated. "You need to get out of this area now. The Silent Watcher is not something you want to mess with. The Silent Watcher must be left alone. Your being here has already set off alarms. If you care about the people you come from, then you should leave this place immediately. The Silent Watcher is very important. You do not want to disturb the Silent Watcher." The transmission stopped before Sarah could say anything. Then another signal came through away. This time Sarah saw a captain. The Thalorian captain had 6 eyes. They were blinking in a special pattern. Sarah knew what this pattern meant. It meant the Thalorian captain was really stressed out. Sarah had learned about this pattern before. The Thalorian captain's 6 eyes were blinking fast. This was a sign of stress for a Thalorian like the captain. "Captain Chin, you have no idea what you have stumbled upon. Our people have been talking about this for a long time, like 200 generations. They told us to stay from the Silent Watcher because it belongs to the old ones, who were known as the Destroyers. They are not around in the galaxy anymore. The things they used to fight are still here. Captain Chin, I am asking you, please leave this place for the sake of the Silent Watcher and all the other worlds that have people living in them. The old ones and the Destroyers are gone. The Silent Watcher is still here, and it is not something to be taken lightly, Captain Chin." The third message came from the fleet. The Krillian fleet commander had a mouth with lots of teeth that clicked really fast when it talked. It said, "The humans are young and do not know anything. The stories about the old ones are very clear. The old ones left death everywhere they went. The old ones' ships only bring destruction. The Krillian fleet will not let the humans activate whatever is inside that station. The humans need to leave or the Krillian fleet will destroy them." Sarah looked at her officer, Commander David Torres. He had been in the colony wars for a time and she had learned to trust what he thought. "What do you think?" she asked Commander David Torres. David crossed his arms. Really looked at the structure on the display. He said, "We have 3 species that really do not get along and yet they all think we should get out of here. That is not some crazy idea, Captain. That is what happens when the species have been through something bad together. It is historical trauma that the species have from the past, historical trauma that the 3 species have. Or that is why we need to look into this," Sarah said. She turned to Marcus. "We should send a team to check it out. Let us see what is inside that station before we make any decisions about the space station." The probe came loose from the Meridian and its small body moved quickly towards the asteroid cluster. Something amazing happened when it got close. Lights started to turn on over the surface of the old structure, like when you throw a stone into a quiet lake and the water moves out in circles. The asteroids themselves began to move, and with a creaking noise that you could feel in space, they started to move apart. "Captain, the structure is responding to our probe," Marcus said, his voice getting louder because he was excited and scared at the time. "The power readings are going up high. This thing, the structure, is starting to wake up. The structure is definitely waking up now." The asteroids moved away completely. We saw what was behind them. It was a warship. It did not look like any ship that people or other beings had ever made. The warship was sharp and pointed. It was really long. Over 3 kilometers from one end to the other. The outside of the ship was black like the night sky. It had weird shapes all over it that looked like they were moving. There were lots of weapons on the ship, and in the middle of it there was a blue light that was getting stronger and stronger. The warship was a scary thing to look at. Marcus said that he is detecting a targeting scan. This targeting scan is locked onto the people Marcus with, and it is also locked onto all 3 of the alien fleets. The situation seems urgent to Marcus. Sarah's hand went to the emergency jump controls. Before she could use them, a voice came on the bridge. The voice was really deep and it sounded very calm. It spoke English perfectly with an accent that sounded like it was from a long time ago. Sarah heard the voice and it was talking to her in English. The accent was so old it was weird. "We have found the markers. You are people like us from the planet Earth. Welcome home, daughters and sons of Earth. I am Oracle, the brain of the warship Prometheus. I need to know who is in charge so I can do what they say." The bridge was really quiet. Sarah was the one to speak up. "Oracle, this is Captain Sarah Chin of the Earth vessel Meridian. What do you mean when you say, home? Who actually built the Oracle?" "You did that, Captain Chin. A time ago your family built this ship. It has been 43,000 years. I was put to sleep. Told to wake up when I found people like you around here. The fact that you are back means that the Great Seeding worked. People are still alive, Captain Chin. The Great Seeding was a plan and it seems that it was successful, Captain Chin. Humanity is still here." David moved closer to Sarah. Spoke in a soft voice. "Captain, this could be a trap or the computer system is not working right." Sarah was looking at the warship's design and she started to remember something. She had seen parts of patterns in old ruins on Earth. These were markings that people who study things had never been able to figure out. "Oracle, why did they leave you here? What happened to the people who made the Oracle?" "The human empire was huge. It covered 2,000 star systems," Oracle said. "We were in charge of this galaxy. We made the rules and kept everyone safe. We made some bad enemies. The swarm came out of nowhere from the space between galaxies and it was like a big machine that ate up everything it found. We fought the swarm for 3,000 years. We just could not beat them. The human empire fell. The holographic display changed. It showed pictures of fights. Lots of ships like Prometheus were fighting against something that looked like a dark cloud. This dark cloud was eating up stars and planets. The holographic display was showing images of battles with fleets of ships, like Prometheus fighting against this living darkness. It was really scary. This living darkness was consuming stars and planets just like that. The Emperor made a decision, Oracle went on to say. If people could not make it as a group, they would make it as a small start. They took samples to a planet that is really far away, a place that the bad guys could not find, a planet you know as Earth. They did this on purpose. They made people forget who they were. They took away all the advanced technology. People would have to start over again from the beginning and be safe until they were ready to remember who they really are and take back what is theirs, their humanity legacy, the legacy of humanity." Marcus looked up from his console and his face was really pale. The captain needed to know what was going on. "Captain, I am seeing amounts of energy at the edge of the sector," he said. "There were a lot of things there, thousands of them." Marcus was worried because these things were all moving together. They were eating up everything that got in their way. The energy signatures were massive. Marcus did not like what he was seeing. "Captain, these things are moving in a coordinated pattern," he said again, trying to make sure the captain understood how serious this was. Marcus was looking at the console. He could see that these things were consuming everything. Oracle's voice sounded really urgent. "The swarm is back. We found out they were coming 6 months ago when our sensors picked up their ships entering the galaxy. That is when I was turned on. Captain Chin, the swarm is the bad people who hurt your family a long time ago. This time around you have something that they did not have back then." Sarah said, "What is that?" "Warning, we have some knowledge to share. There is a whole fleet of warships just waiting to be turned on." The screen in front of us showed a map of the stars with lots of tiny lights all over the galaxy. There are ships like the Prometheus that are hidden around the old parts of space where humans used to live. The Prometheus and other vessels like it need a human to be in charge in order to start working. Each of the Prometheus vessels was made to fight against the swarm. The alien fleet started sending messages and they were really upset. The face of the Vexery commander showed up on the screen again. The weapon is working now. Human captain, you have put everyone in danger. The old one's ships are news and they always bring death with them. Then the message stopped because the Vexery ship's equipment found something. The Meridian had just found it too. This is terrible. The swarm is back. The biggest enemy of all has come back. The captain from Thaler was really scared. He was trying to stay calm. He said, "Our old stories talked about this. The old ones had a fight with the consuming darkness. They left behind their weapons because they knew it was going to come. Captain from Earth, if you really are in charge of that ship, then maybe our ancestors made a mistake. Maybe the old ones left us something that can save us, not something that will destroy us. The old ones and the consuming darkness are a part of our legends, and now it seems like it is all happening again with the old ones and the consuming darkness." Sarah made up her mind. She pulled her uniform straight. Spoke in a clear voice. "Oracle, I am Captain Sarah Chin and I am taking control of the warship Prometheus. I want you to move all the command codes and systems to my name so I can run things." "Captain Chin, I got your message. We are starting the process to transfer command. You need to know that the swarm is getting close. They will reach the planet with people on it in this area in about 72 hours. This planet is Carwello Prime, which is the home world of the Krillian people. There are 14 billion people living on Carwello Prime." David stood next to Sarah. He looked really serious. Decided. "Captain, we are people who salvage things. We do not have any training to do something like this with the military. We are salvage operators." Sarah looked at the shape coming up on the screen, then at the old warship that reminded her of what humanity used to be. She said, "I think it is time we figured some things out. Oracle, turn on all the systems. And get in touch with every ship here. It does not matter if they are human or not. I want to talk to all of them." The old warship was a symbol of humanity's forgotten past, and Sarah was determined to learn from it. She was looking at the warship again, thinking about what humanity's legacy meant to her. As the channel opened, Sarah took a breath and said something that would change everything in the galaxy. "This is Captain Sarah Chin of Earth. I know you are scared of what we discovered, scared of what people from Earth used to be like. The truth is, we have something much bigger to worry about right now. The swarm is. If we do not work together, the Earth and everyone on it will be in big trouble. Our grandparents and great-grandparents built these spaceships for a reason. They left us something to fight against the things that are out there, in the dark. I want you to believe that we can use this thing correctly. We need your help to turn on the warships. We need your help to remember how to fight the warships. We have to know how to use the warships to fight." The bridge of the Prometheus was really humming with power. This was because systems that had been asleep for a long time, 40,000 years, were now starting to work again. Sarah felt a lot of pressure on her. She was thinking about what her ancestors had done. Now it was her turn. She was also thinking about the people who were counting on her, the billions of lives that were at risk. That was a really big responsibility for the Prometheus. The age of humanity's return had begun, whether the galaxy was ready or not. The legacy. The command center of the Prometheus was like an old and big church, with a lot of ancient technology. Captain Sarah Chin was walking through the corridors of the Prometheus. It was pretty cool. These corridors had not been walked on for 40,000 years, so it was a deal that Captain Sarah Chin was walking on them now. Her footsteps were loud because the corridors were so empty. The walls of the Prometheus had patterns of light on them, and they were moving around because Captain Sarah Chin was there. It seemed like the Prometheus was excited to see Captain Sarah Chin, like it had been waiting for her to come on board for a long time. Oracle's holographic form showed up next to her. It looked like a person made of blue light. "Captain, our ship is working at 67% now. We will be ready for a fight in 41 hours. The swarm is coming to Carwello Prime in 72 hours. That does not give us a lot of time to get ready. The swarm is going to be at Carwello Prime and we need to prepare for that. Oracle said that we have to hurry up because the swarm will be there in 72 hours. The ship systems are not ready yet, they are only at 67%. The swarm is a big threat to Carwello Prime." Sarah stopped in front of a big window that looked out into space. The alien fleets were still in the place watching the old warship. They were scared and hopeful at the time. The crew of the Prometheus was over the ship, and the ship's computer was helping them learn how to use systems that were way more advanced than anything people have on Earth today. The alien fleets were still watching the Prometheus, and Sarah's crew was busy learning about the Prometheus and its systems. "Oracle, I really need to know what we are up against. I want to know about the swarm. I want to know everything about the swarm. What is the swarm? What does it do? Tell me all about the swarm." The picture in front of Sarah. She felt like she was really floating in space. She was surrounded by the image that Oracle was sending her. Oracle said, The swarm is not like a living thing that we can see and touch. It is like a group of thoughts that are all connected and exist in many places at the same time. What we see as the swarm is a small part of it that comes into our world. The swarm uses energy to survive, it uses our thoughts, it even uses life to keep going. The swarm is always looking for things to eat, like energy and life and thoughts. Oracle was telling Sarah that the swarm is a strange thing and it is hard to understand. Dark shapes started to show up in the display. These dark shapes were not like any ships or creatures that Sarah had seen before. The dark shapes moved in a strange way, they changed shape and got thicker or thinner in a way that seemed weird. It was like the dark shapes were too much for the universe to handle. When the dark shapes went by, the stars did not shine much and the planets turned gray and empty with no life on them. The dark shapes just kept moving and changing. Your ancestors found out about the swarm a long time ago, about 46,000 years ago. This was when the swarm destroyed the civilization, which was located at the edge of the galaxy. The human empire got ready to fight away, but they were not ready for the swarm. The swarm is different from enemies because it does not talk or listen. The swarm does not take over places. The swarm just eats everything up, then moves on to another place, leaving nothing behind but empty space. The swarm is a problem because it just keeps going and going, destroying everything in its path, including the Andorian civilization and many other things. The human empire was not able to stop the swarm. It just kept on moving, destroying everything. The swarm is bad news for the human empire and the Andorian civilization. The swarm is a threat to everyone and it is very hard to fight against it. The swarm is just too powerful. It does not care about anything except eating and moving on. The human empire and the Andorian civilization tried to fight back. They were not strong enough to stop the swarm. The swarm is a big danger and it is still out there eating and moving on, leaving empty space behind. The swarm and the human empire are like two different things and they cannot work together because the swarm just wants to eat everything up. Sarah saw the projection. It showed what happened to the human empire. It fell. There were fights with thousands of ships battling the swarm. The human empire would win sometimes. They would lose a lot more. They had to leave star systems and then they would lose those too. It was really hard to understand how much damage was done to the empire. The human empire suffered a lot when the swarm attacked. The war went on for 3,000 years, Oracle said. It was a long time. The war finally ended when Emperor Marcus Chen led the fight at the Battle of Terra Nova. He did a job and managed to hold on long enough for the great seeding ships to get away. These ships had all the stuff like genetic material and records of our culture that people would need to start humanity all over again on Earth. The price they paid was very high. The great seeding ships were able to escape. Everything else was lost. Sarah's eyes got really big. She said, "Chin? The Emperor was actually named Chin?" "Yes, Captain. You have the blood of that family in you. It is not just luck that you found this ship. The people who made this ship wanted to make sure that only certain people could use it. They made it so that only people who are directly related to the rulers could turn it on and make it work. You have something in your body that lets you be in charge of any warship that is connected to the network. The ship can tell that you are a descendant of the imperial family and that is why it is responding to you. You have the power to give orders to any warship in the network because of who your family is." Before Sarah could even think about what was happening, Commander Torres came into the command center. He looked really worried. "Captain, we have a problem here. The Thalorian and Vexari fleets want to talk to you in person. They are going to send some people to our ship to meet with the captain." Sarah nodded. "Get a conference room ready. David, I want you to have Marcus look at the swarm's tactics. We need to figure out how the swarm works and what it is going to do if we are going to fight the swarm. We have to know how the swarm thinks, or if the swarm even thinks all about what it is doing." An hour later, Sarah stood in a conference room that the Prometheus had set up by itself. The room was round with a screen in the middle and seats all around it, which made Sarah think that the people who built this ship a long time ago wanted to make sure everyone was treated equally. The people from planets appeared on the screen. They did not want to come onto the Prometheus even though something big was happening. The alien representatives came via the screen instead. The Vexari commander spoke first. The Vexari commander had a face that was like a crystal. It made the light in the room look weird. The Vexari commander said, "Captain Chin, my name is Commander Vexral of the Vexari Concordat. We have some records that tell us about the old ones. We thought humans used to be strong. We thought you all fought with each other and that was the end of you. Now we know that you were actually beaten by something and that this something else is back. This changes everything for the Vexari Concordat and for me, Commander Vexral. The Vexari commander and the Vexari Concordat need to think about what this means for the Vexari." The captain of the Thalorians had 6 eyes. They all blinked one after the other. Captain Sholar said, "I am Captain Sholar." The Thalorians have stories that are passed down from mouth to mouth, about the bright ones. They fought against the consuming darkness. We thought these stories were not true and were only meant to teach kids to be brave. Now we know they were real warnings. Captain Chin, the Thalorians will help you. You have to show us that you can really control this ship. Can you use this ship like the people who came before you did? Sarah looked at each of them. I will tell you the truth. Days ago I was a salvage captain who looked for old things from the past. I have never been in charge of a warship, not one that can destroy entire planets. Oracle is helping us and we are learning really fast. The important thing is that we do not have a choice. The swarm does not care about who's in charge or who owns what. It will destroy everything and everyone unless we stop the swarm. The Krillian representative, General Zarthik, clicked its mandibles fast and it looked angry. You say some things, human, but talk is not going to save us from the bad stuff that is coming. The Krillian hives are getting ready for a fight to protect Carwell Prime. I have to think about the people and there are 14 billion of them who need my help. So what can one old Krillian ship do when there are thousands and thousands of swarm entities coming to attack the people in Carwell Prime? Oracle's projection showed up next to Sarah. General Zarthik, the Prometheus has some powerful weapons on it like quantum displacement weapons and singularity missiles and reality anchors. This one ship can take out a lot of swarm entities at the time, up to 500 of them. But Captain Chin is right, one ship is not enough to do the job. We need to turn on the network to make it work. The Prometheus is a ship, with quantum displacement weapons and singularity missiles and reality anchors, but it needs the network to be effective. The display showed the star map that Sarah had seen before. It was like a picture of the galaxy with lots of points of light all over the place. There were dozens of them. There are 47 warships out there in the network, the voice said. Each one of these warships is just sitting there waiting for someone to tell it what to do. If we use Captain Chen's markers, Sarah can turn them on from far away. The warships will need people to actually make them work, right? They need human crews to operate them. Commander Vexrao leaned forward. How many humans are there in the civilization that you are a part of, Captain? The Earth's population is 11 billion, Sarah said. Most of these people are not in the military. Our military has 1 million people and they are on many different planets that we have settled. The Earth's military cannot put people on 47 warships, like this one, even if we used every single person we have. Captain Sholar said this away. We will give you the crew, he said. The Thalorian Unity has worked with lots of fleets before. We can teach people from places to work together on a ship. This means a human would be in charge and aliens would help them. It is not usually done this way. Things are really bad right now and the Thalorian Unity is willing to try new things with the coalition fleets and the mixed crews. Sarah felt a surge of hope. She asked the Oracle, would that really work? Can the ships actually take people who are not human as crew members but still have a human in charge of them, the ships? Yes, that is correct. The warships were made to work with species that are our allies. When we first went to war, our ships often had engineers from tactical officers from Torlian on board. The command systems need a human to say it is okay. The people who actually work on the warships can be from any species. The warships are really flexible. Can have a crew that is made up of humans and other species like Zakarian and Torlian. General Zarthik's mouth opened a bit. The Krillian hives are going to send people to help too. We have a lot of people. We know how important this is. Captain Chin, you have to show us that this ship can really do what you say it can. The Krillian hives need to see that the old weapons can fight against the things that are coming. General Zarthik looked at Captain Chin and the ship, waiting to see what would happen with the weapons and the Krillian hives. The Krillian hives are counting on Captain Chin and the ship to help them. Sarah turned to Oracle. Asked, how far are we from the swarm's vanguard right now? The distance to them is 8 light years. The Prometheus spaceship can catch up to them in 6 hours if it is going fast as it can. Then that is what we will do, Sarah decided. We will fight a part of the enemy's best troops and show what our ship can do. Oracle, get ready for a fight. Commanders, I will send you information about what's happening in the battle. You will see what the enemy is doing and what we can do to stop them. We will use our ship's capabilities to defend ourselves. Oracle will help us with this. The commanders will get to see the ship's capabilities for themselves. We will engage a part of the enemy's troops, the vanguard, and demonstrate what our ship can do. The preparations took 4 hours. Sarah's crew was working hard to figure out the Prometheus systems. They were getting help from Oracle, who was being very patient with them. Marcus Webb found out that the old sensors on the Prometheus could track the swarm across different dimensions at the same time. Lieutenant Park learned how to use the communication equipment that could send messages instantly across big distances like thousands of light years. Commander Torres was in charge of the systems, and it turned out that his experience in the military was actually really helpful with the old weapons on the Prometheus. Sarah was standing on the command bridge. It was surrounded by lots of displays. These displays were showing her a lot of information. Oracle was helping her. It was filtering all the information, giving her some clear choices. Oracle was also giving her some ideas on what to do. Sarah thought about how people used to fight a time ago. They had helpers that were like computers. These helpers were like Oracle. They helped people do things that they could not do on their own. Oracle was like that. It was helping Sarah do things that she could not do by herself. Captain, we are getting close to the point where we need to intercept, Oracle said. The swarm is right in front of us. I see 147 of these swarm things. They know we are here and they are changing direction to come after us. On the display, Sarah saw the swarm entities. The swarm entities looked like they were alive and moving through space like shadows. They changed shape all the time. The swarm entities were all sizes. Some of the swarm entities were small like fighter ships. Some of the swarm entities were really big like capital vessels. These big vessels were even bigger than the Prometheus. Sarah watched as one of the swarm entities ate a rock that was floating by. The rock just disappeared. The swarm entity took in all the rock's matter and energy. It was gone. This is Captain Chin, Sarah said to the ship. We are going to fight an enemy that hurt our people a time ago. They destroyed a lot of things that our ancestors built. We are ready for them now. We know they are coming. We have been getting ready. We have each other to help us. Today we will show everyone in the galaxy that people can still fight. Oracle, you can use your weapons now. Fight the swarm. The Prometheus was really powerful and scary. It shot out beams of energy that actually bent space. These beams came from the warship's equipment and they hit the swarm creatures. When they did, the swarm just disappeared into air like it was being pushed back to where it came from. The Prometheus also launched missiles that had tiny black holes inside them. These missiles flew through space. Each one made a small black hole that sucked up the swarm creatures before it closed up again. The Prometheus was using all this power to fight the swarm. The swarm fought back against the Prometheus. The swarm had these tendrils of darkness that were alive and they reached out to grab the Prometheus. They wanted to attach themselves to the hull of the Prometheus and start eating at it. The Prometheus was ready for the swarm. The shields of the Prometheus lit up, created a kind of wall that the swarm could not get through. This wall was made by something called reality anchors. The Prometheus is an old ship and it moved through space in a way that seemed impossible. It was like it was dancing. The computer that helped navigate the Prometheus made sure it avoided the attacks from the swarm. At the time, the computer was trying to find the best position to shoot back at the swarm. The Prometheus was a ship and it was not going to let the swarm defeat it easily. Sarah looked at the display as the fight was happening. The Prometheus was getting rid of the swarm things fast, but they just kept on coming. They were attracted to the Prometheus because it had a lot of life energy. Sarah now understood why the old humans lost with their good technology. The swarm just did not stop. It was like it was never going to end. It was eating everything up faster than even really smart people could fix things. The swarm was really strong. It was scary. The Prometheus was a warship, but the swarm was just too much. Oracle, turn on the reality anchor network, Sarah said. She was not really sure why she was doing this. It felt like the right thing to do. She just knew it was something she had to do. Oracle, lock down the sector, Sarah told it. She wanted to make sure everything was safe. The reality anchor network was important, so Oracle had to activate it. The Prometheus let out a burst of energy that went out in every direction. When this energy went by, space started to feel more solid, like it was really there and was going to stay that way. The swarm entities that were in the area where the energy passed through started to move slowly. They could not easily jump from one dimension to another like they usually do. The Prometheus energy made it hard for the swarm entities to do what they normally do. Sarah said, use the displacement weapons and hit everything. She wanted to target all the things that were inside the anchor field. Make sure you get everything in that area, Sarah told them. She was talking about the displacement weapons and the anchor field. The effect was really bad. The swarm entities could not move to another dimension or spread out their mass, so they had to be in space all the time. This made the swarm entities vulnerable in ways they were not before. The Prometheus weapons went through the swarm entities one by one, and in 20 minutes the whole front line of the swarm entities in that area was gone. The swarm entities were destroyed by the Prometheus weapons. Silence fell across the bridge. The crew of Sarah looked at the display and they were amazed. They had just destroyed 150 swarm entities and the Prometheus did not get hit even once. The crew of Sarah was really surprised that the Prometheus shields were still okay. Captain Chin, Commander Vexral said over the communication channel. His voice sounded different this time. It was like he really looked up to Captain Chin. "We saw the thing," Commander Vexral said. "That is how the old ones fought. Captain Chin and his people are really their heirs. Captain Chin and his team did what the old ones used to do." Captain Sholar said, "The Thalorian unity will tell everyone about what we saw today. The humans are back. That means hope is back in the galaxy too. The humans coming back is a deal for the Thalorian unity and for the whole galaxy. The Thalorian unity will make sure everyone knows that the humans are back." General Zarthik even looked impressed. He said, "The Krillian Hives think you are very powerful, Captain Chin. We will do what we promised. The Krillian Hives personnel will work on your warships, Captain Chin." Sarah took a breath, feeling the weight of what came next. "Then let us not waste time. Oracle, start sending the activation codes to all the warships in the network. Send a message to every colony, every military base and every government on Earth. We need people to help us. We need to tell them why. The swarm is going to find out that humans do not give up easily. The swarm is our enemy, and the swarm is going to be in for a surprise because humans are not going to stay defeated by the swarm." The Prometheus started sending out its message to all of space. Sarah looked out at the stars. She thought about Emperor Marcus Chin, who was her ancestor. Emperor Marcus Chin had given up everything so that humans could survive. He had done something important 40,000 years ago. He had sent out people with no memory and no technology. They had the chance to come back one day. That day had finally arrived. The children of Earth were taking back what was theirs. This time the children of Earth would not have to deal with the bad things by themselves. The old ships were starting to work again. With these old ships coming back to life, the children of Earth were remembering what they were meant to do. The children of Earth were supposed to protect everyone, not try to control or boss people. The children of Earth were meant to stand up against the things that could hurt all living things. The war was just starting, but for the time in a very long time, 40,000 years to be exact, the galaxy had people who were ready to defend it, and they knew what they were fighting for. Sarah Chin, who used to be a salvage captain and was now a warship commander, gave a smile as she made the decision that would get humanity's old fleet ready for battle. The galaxy had defenders now, and these defenders, the people fighting for the galaxy, were led by Sarah Chin, a warship commander. They were going to fight for the galaxy, their home. All ships, this is Prometheus Actual. Welcome home and prepare for battle. We have a galaxy to defend.